From weekend getaways to extended road trips, California is full of places to explore. And for over 100 years, the Auto Club has been there to help. Our travel agents offer you expertise regarding destination information, trip planning and reservations, either in office, on the phone, or online. Across the state, throughout the country, or around the world, through all life's travels, we're always with you.
Road Trip has been made possible by the Automobile Club of Southern California.
Well, hello everybody, I'm Huell, and right now we are visiting one of my favorite places in all of California. We are in Chico, California, way up north in Butte County, and we are standing here right in the middle of Bidwell Park, which runs through the heart of the city of Chico, and we're standing by a pool they call the Sycamore Pool. This is Big Chico Creek right here, and this is very deceiving, because at first glance, this looks like a swimming pool, but it's really not. Right down there, it's a creek. Right here, it becomes a pool. And then look what happens right down here. The pool becomes a creek again. So what you've got is a creek on both ends and a natural flowing pool here in the middle. This is one of the most beautiful parks in the entire state of California. We have been here before visiting this park, but we had so much fun in Chico, and there was still so much left to see and do from our first trip here months ago, that we have now come back to Chico. For the next 2 days, we're going to be here seeing the sights and visiting some of the places we wanted to visit the first time we were here. This is going to be a lot of fun, I promise you. There is a lot to see, and we're going to see as much of it as we can over the next 2 days here in Chico on this road trip. Okay, it's time to start our road trip, and we're doing that about a mile from that amazing pool over in Bidwell Park. We are standing here with Amber Drake, and Amber, I hope you are dressed for the occasion. This isn't your normal attire, is it?
It's not. I'm wearing clothes from the 1800s.
Absolutely. There's a reason why she's doing that, because we're standing in front of Bidwell Mansion, which is a state historic park. We've just come from Bidwell Park. There's a lot of Bidwell up here in Chico. That Bidwell is big in Chico, and actually the name Bidwell is very important to California history. Bring us all up to speed on why John and Annie Bidwell are such important characters in the California history story.
Okay, well, John Bidwell was a very early pioneer. He came out here in 1841 and worked for John Sutter when he first came to California. He was working for Sutter when they found gold, so John was able to be part of the gold rush. His plan being that he would get gold money to purchase land to start a farm. John bought over 20,000 acres.
Right up in here.
Right here. This was the land he really desired. The creek is right beside us here. He was eager to get this land. He thought it'd be very fertile for starting a farm. He then started growing things from all over the world here on his ranch. That would have people come up here and work for him. Later he was able to start the town of Chico then in 1860.
So he founded Chico.
John founded the town of Chico. Yes, he did.
He was involved in things that had statewide implications.
Absolutely. Before he founded Chico, John was part of the Bear Flag Revolt. John was the person who brought the gold-bearing courts to Washington, D.C. that signified us becoming part of the country, brought the papers back, making California a state in 1850.
I'm surprised he never got into politics, that he never ran for governor.
Well, but he did. John actually ran for governor 3 times.
Oh, did he lose 3 times?
He lost 3 times, didn't even get the nomination. The reason John built the mansion was in the 1860s. He was seeking the nomination, and this was a great way to get people's attention to learn more about him.
It looks like the governor should live here.
It sure does. I think John may have built himself a governor's mansion here. He was a congressman at the time that he was building this.
Now, when was this built?
It was completed in 1868.
Boy, so this is old.
Yes, it is.
1868.
1868.
And the fact that he came here 8 years before gold was discovered, so he was truly one of the early California pioneers. He didn't just come, because gold had been discovered. He came way before
that. He came with the first group of people who crossed the Sierra Nevada with wagons.
All right, now we're going to go in and take a look at a little bit of this mansion, because to be honest with you, before you got here this morning, I peeked in a couple of the windows. There's a lot to see in there. But before we go inside, there's got to be a story behind this. I have never seen a magnolia tree like this before.
And you certainly wouldn't expect to see a southern magnolia like this here in Chico. John was an experimental farmer, so he's growing things from all over the world. This was something he got as a sapling and planted it while he was planning the mansion.
So he planted this?
John Bidwell planted this southern magnolia in 1863, hoping one day it might grow tall enough to shade the veranda he would build there.
That is amazing.
I'm sure this has exceeded anyone's expectations for this tree.
It's amazing that it has survived all these years, and I have never seen a magnolia tree this big before.
Nor has anyone else I've spoken to.
You've got to get a lot of comments on this.
Oh, absolutely. Even people from the South are surprised to see a magnolia of this size.
All right, we can't just stand out here under the magnolia tree all day, but you look so nice. Come on, get on my arm, and we're going to go inside the historic Bidwell Mansion, which is the centerpiece, the crown jewel of Bidwell State Historic Park, right here in the middle of downtown Chico. We're inside the mansion, and let's head right over here, and I don't know why, I just kind of automatically go to the right in here.
Well, this would be the right place to come. This is the Bidwell's parlor.
The parlor.
Yes, so this is where they would invite you into.
And is this a picture of the parlor back when they lived here?
It is. This is a picture of the parlor when Annie lived here.
Is that Annie in the picture?
It is. She's there seated by the fireplace, and we're able to see how we've been able to reproduce the look of the home, including their 45-star flags.
This is the most amazing thing I think I've ever seen. They made draperies out of flags.
Yes, and this would not be inappropriate at the time. This was really a way to show your patriotism.
Because at one point in our history, it was inappropriate to do something like that with the American flag.
Sure, but now this is then it was a perfectly fine thing for them to do.
This is amazing. Flag curtains in the parlor.
Annie liked to decorate with flags throughout her life, so this was just one place they would have had them.
Now, what are we looking at in here? Obviously, we've got fireplaces. We've got a piano over here, kind of looking out.
This piano did belong to Annie, John's wife. He met her while he was building the mansion in the 1860s. She married him the year the mansion was completed, and he married her at her family's home in D.C., took her to New York to purchase this so she could feel more at home and have a piano here in Chico.
This was his wedding gift.
This is his wedding present to Annie, a square grand piano made of rosewood.
Does it still...
We keep this in tune. It's actually good for pianos to play them. This is something we do allow people to do on tour.
Did Annie play it?
Annie played the piano.
You're dressed like Annie.
Similar too. I could try to play a little something for you.
Yeah, let's go back in time. Annie is going to play for us on the piano. This would have been the
library. Probably both the Bidwell's favorite room in the house. They both love to read.
Wait a minute now. This is another one of these pictures.
It is.
They wouldn't have had flowers like that.
They sure did. Their gardener would take chicken wire and make frameworks.
Just on a regular day or for big parties?
We suspect this would be for special occasions, but you'd take cut flowers and bring them in the home.
Wow. And this was the...
This was the library.
Library. So they would have spent a lot of time in here.
They did spend much time in here. This is kind of
like their den, or...
Yes. After meals, you would retire into this room. Annie was a prohibitionist. She didn't allow drinking or smoking in the home. So after meals, she would actually have men and women come together in here and have political and social conversation. When Annie died, she willed this house to her church, wanted this to be turned into a prohibition school, but instead, that didn't work out. They sold it to the college, and this was turned into a dormitory in the 20s and 30s. In the 40s and 50s, this was used as classrooms and offices.
You mean this was used as a dormitory in the 20s and 30s? It's amazing it's still standing.
It says a lot about college students back then that they respected the home.
Wow.
The State Parks has been restoring the mansion since 1964.
That's when it became a state historic park. I'm just wondering, I'm not sure why we're going in here, but...
well, this is a great room. This was John's home office. He did have offices downtown, but he would be able to do business right here.
So this is where he ran for governor 3 times and lost.
He did unsuccessfully run for governor. John also ran for president of the United States. In 1892, he was 72 years old, but he ran on the prohibition ticket, and I'm sure Annie respected that very much.
Well, Annie probably got him to run. So he was not a drinker?
Not after he met Annie.
It's called Bidwell Mansion today, and I imagine back in 1868 when it was built, it was really considered a mansion up here, wasn't it?
Oh, certainly. When you consider you're in the middle of farmland, it would have been very unexpected to find a home with 26 rooms. There's about 10,000 square feet here.
This was a big deal.
This was a big deal.
Okay, you have brought us up to the 2nd floor because you said there is still one more room that you want to show us in the Bidwell Mansion, and it's not any of these bedrooms, it's another room.
It is something fairly unexpected here. John had running water here with the use of a hydraulic ram, pumping water into the home, so he was able to have bathrooms with flush toilets.
So here is the bathroom right here, and this gives new meaning to the word throne. That is a throne right there.
It's quite a toilet, yes. John even got an elephant trunk toilet here.
So wait a minute, that's an elephant trunk toilet?
Apparently this is the design here that, yes, your toilet looks like an elephant's trunk and raised from the ground to accommodate the plumbing, but certainly unlike anything people had experienced. Most people who came here were used to using outhouses.
So they probably had guests who wanted to come here just to see the toilet.
I wonder. I think a lot of guests who came here thought this was a strange thing to have. Bringing your outhouse into the home was kind of an unusual idea at that point.
It is kind of strange. I've never seen an elephant trunk toilet before in my life.
Nor have I. No, I'm sure this was unexpected.
I'm glad it's still here, because this has to be a high point of the tour.
It certainly is. Something so unusual like that, yes.
Does it still work?
No, we have no running water in the mansion. But
okay, we are ending our tour on this side of the house, which, Amber, you say is your favorite side of the house.
It sure is my favorite side of the house. I love the view of the mansion from here, and I'm sure that the Bidwells loved their view of the creek from this side of the mansion.
And they would have had roses out here?
Very likely they did, yes.
Maybe the arbor would have been there?
Yeah, so a place for Annie to enjoy nature out here.
So you've really done a good job in restoring this back to the way it really was back in 1868.
The state parks, that's what they're striving to do, yes, with all these decades of restoration to get it back like it was in the Bidwell's time.
This is an amazing place, and when you think that Bidwell Park, the city park, which is just right over here, was donated by the Bidwells, their home is now a state historic park, and they did something else with some of their land here as well, didn't they?
They did. In the 1880s, John donated land to the state to become a college. Right here where his cherry orchard was, he gave up 8 acres of land, and that's what's become Chico State today.
So the park, and the university campus are all gifts of the Bidwell family.
Yes.
That is amazing. And you know, I'm from Southern California, and I don't think people in Southern California really know the name Bidwell the way they should. Do you?
I don't think so. John wasn't a self-promoter. People are always surprised to find that he didn't name this whole town Bidwell. Certainly had many opportunities to name things after himself. But I think it's kind of interesting because of all the things that he did. Now people do know who he is because of how important he is to California history and not just to our local history.
Well, he was never elected governor, and he was never elected president, but he and his wife Annie certainly made major contributions not only to the whole whole state of California, but particular to the Chico area. And today, this home is a state historic park here for all of us to enjoy and learn more about this remarkable couple who were true pioneers here in California.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for the tour.
Indeed, you're welcome.
We've had a great time here. What a great place to start our visit to Chico than right here in this mansion, in this state historic park, which is such an important part of the history of Chico and California. Well, as our Chico road trip continues, we're now at 320 Broadway, right in downtown Chico, just a couple of blocks from the main campus of Chico State, and we've hooked up with
Bob Maloney.
Okay, now Bob, we're in your store. Tell us exactly where we are and what's here.
Bird in Hand is a micro department store, kind of a modern day general store, and we have a little bit of everything that the town needs.
Okay, so you and your wife run this store, and a nice store it is. You do have a little bit of everything in here.
Quite a lot of novelty and a lot of fun things.
But we're here to visit this place right here because this is something that has really captured the imagination of people in Chico and all over the world. Let everybody know where you have brought us right now.
Well, Huell, this is the National Yo-Yo Museum, and this is the largest exhibit of old and antique yo-yos in America today.
Okay, the National Yo-Yo Museum.
Correct.
Why is the National Yo-Yo Museum in downtown Chico in the back of your store?
Well, it had to be somewhere. And we started having contests years ago, and that contest grew in '93 to the National Yo-Yo Contest. So competitors come from all over the country to Chico, and the exhibit here is for them when they get here.
So this museum has been here since 1993.
Correct.
And you have hosted here in Chico the National Yo-Yo Contest every year since then.
That is correct. Every year in October, we have the national contest here where kids who've been qualified or identified throughout the country through a variety of now 25 linked contests come to Chico to see who will go home with the national championship.
Now, you have an amazing exhibit here. There are yo-yos everywhere, and there's so many yo-yo questions that I want to ask you. I don't know exactly where to start. I guess the question is, when did yo-yos start?
Well, historically, thousands of years ago, there's archaeologists who have unearthed yo-yos that are 2,500 years old.
Like in Egypt or something?
Ancient Greece specifically.
All right, let's move up a few years to California.
Well, they first were mass-produced in California in the 1920s. A gentleman named Pedro Flores down in Southern California created a wood yo-yo similar to the ones that he played with when he was a young boy.
Do you have a yo-yo like that here?
We do.
One of the early California ones?
We do. We have this one right here.
That's it?
That's it. That's what yo-yos used to look like in the 20s.
And this yo-yo was manufactured by
Pedro Flores
in Los Angeles.
Correct.
In
that one's 1926, 1927.
I'm looking over your shoulder at this thing. Is this a prop or is this the real thing? This isn't a real
This is a
yo-yo, is it?
modified yo-yo. It has been tested at the end of a 120-foot crane several times, and it does go up and down and up and down and up and down.
So you mean this is a real yo-yo? It's not a prop.
A real working yo-yo.
It's one thing to talk about yo-yos. It's another to see yo-yos in action. And right now, of course, there is a yo-yo expert. Probably he's the yo-yo champion here in Chico.
Well, Thad Winson's here is a national master, one of 8 award winners in the world, and he is also one of the judges for the national contest, and so he has the knowledge of all these tricks which require a great amount of dexterity and long spinning yo-yos on
now,
one throw.
Now, is this the new yo-yo that you were talking about?
Yeah, this is one of those ball bearing yo-yos that give kids the ability to play a lot longer on one throw, and it's a more successful, easier to use, and more can be done with it.
This is absolutely amazing. Is that yo-yo attached to the string?
Yes, this is one of the styles that is understandable in traditionary senses. It's tied to the finger and it's tied to the axle of the yo-yo. There are other styles of yo-yos that those aren't necessarily commonplace. But the idea of this yo-yo spinning so fast gives it greater stability, and it gives it longer speed so that more than one trick can be done in a single throw.
This is not your grandfather's or grandmother's yo-yo.
Well,
this is a whole nother level of yo-yoing.
Every generation that ever grew up in America now has understood what a yo-yo is, and they look at this and they're flabbergasted. They think something's happening. They ask if there's motors or anything like that in it, but no, it's a gyroscope at the end of a string.
Well, it's a basic principle, geometric principle, right?
It's gone to a full conclusion of how long can you get a yo-yo to spin, and so Thad here's got it for over 10 minutes.
Look at his eyes. He hadn't taken his eyes off that thing. I was going to ask him some questions, but I think he needs to be concentrating at this moment, don't you?
Well, those are pretty difficult tricks, and if you don't look at it for a minute, you might end up with a knot. And,
so there are going to be yo-yo people watching this who are going to really appreciate. I can appreciate it on one level, but they're going to really appreciate what Thad's doing right now.
There are ones that could tell you trick for trick what he's combined here for, yes.
And what makes this interesting is that all of this is being done here in the context of the National Yo-Yo Museum.
It's all the information we can about yo-yos for anybody who wants to come in.
And if you want to come to the national contest, that happens every October right here in Chico.
First Saturday in October every year.
It's the social highlight of the year in Chico.
It's a big thing.
I'm not really making fun of it. I'm serious about it. This is serious stuff.
I would just recommend get your hotel
Wait a minute, did he just...
You just made a mistake.
Wait a minute, that gives me hope. That gives me courage. Thad, what did we distract you? What did we do?
No. I just made a boo-boo.
Well, see, that helps us all. That inspires us all to realize that, of course, to learn something like this is all trial and error.
That's true, and Thad's one of the best yo-yo instructors also.
Wow.
And every Saturday here at the museum, Thad teaches anybody who comes in.
Wow.
And we have dozens of kids here every Saturday learning to do this.
Wow, this is great. What an American pastime right here in downtown Chico, celebrated in downtown Chico at the Yo-Yo Museum. Well, after all the stress and excitement of the day we've had so far, visiting the beautiful old Bidwell Mansion and then the National Yo-Yo Museum, we have decided to get out of town. We've come about 5 miles out of Chico, and look where we are in this absolutely beautiful setting. I am standing here with Gail, who we commandeered at the last minute. We looked up her name and telephone number because you are the secretary of the organization that looks after what we're standing in front of right now. And what is this, Gail?
This is the Honey Run Covered Bridge.
The Honey Run Covered Bridge, and I know there's got to be a wonderful history to this covered bridge.
There is. This is the longest, the only 3-span covered bridge left in the United States, and that's a unique style. It's over 100 years old and pretty well preserved.
Now, what do you mean pretty well preserved? This isn't the original bridge.
This is the original bridge.
Built in 1894.
Right. Right.
Well, that looks like it's in great condition to me.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
You all take care of it, you nurture it, you care for it.
We do, and we love it.
All right, well, let's walk down here because walking is the only way we can get to the Honey Run Covered Bridge. Cars don't go over here anymore, do they?
No, not since 1964.
So until 1964, this was an operating wooden covered bridge here in Butte County.
Correct. Yes.
Why did they stop?
In 1964, a drunken teenager hit the back span of the bridge and knocked it awry, and the county was going to tear it down. So our Honey Run Covered Bridge Association was formed, and they saved the bridge, which was a big, big thing.
To save the bridge.
Saved the bridge,
And
yeah.
the way I found out about you and this bridge, I read the local paper. And it had a big article about the big barbecue and fundraiser you had here.
That was the pancake breakfast on Sunday, our big fundraiser for the year.
Absolutely. So a few days ago, you had a bunch of people here.
Right, right. 820.
People in Chico love this bridge, don't they?
They do. They do. It's a part of our history.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are these rock formations? Boy, you're just overpowered, and it's beautiful up here looking at them with the trees and all. What is this?
Those are buttes, and that's why this is called Butte Creek.
Butte Creek in Butte County.
Right.
So those are buttes up there, and I don't want to get into a whole big geologic thing about what is a butte.
I wouldn't be able to help you much there.
You know about the bridge, not about the buttes.
I know they're buttes.
All right.
I know how they were formed, but...
How were they formed? Volcanic, I bet.
Well, and erosion water. See, the creek, the water started way up there, so you can imagine how long ago that was.
Boy, this is... And here's the creek. Right down here. Is this Butte Creek?
That's Butte Creek.
This is Butte Creek. And this is the bridge right here. And there's the sign here, Honey Run Covered Bridge, and it is a three-span covered bridge, which is a unique style. It's built in the Pratt truss style, which are those metal supports are called trusses, and they adjust them with this big wrench thing. And once in a while, the bridge engineer for the county comes by and kind of gets it back in kilter again. Wow. Well, we're glad that it's in kilter, and we're glad we give kudos to the Honey Run, what's the name of the organization?
Honey Run Covered Bridge Association.
The Honey Run Covered Bridge Association, made up of the good citizens of Butte County.
Right.
Who saved this bridge.
Yes.
Kept it up there.
Yes.
Exactly where it's been since 1894. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. This was worth the trip out here from Chico, which is just, 10 minutes away.
Thank you.
But it's like going into, look at this up here. This is like going into another world when you stand here and look up at these buttes. This is just beautiful up here.
It is. We're lucky. We're lucky to live here.
Well, that's it. The end of our first day here in Chico on this road trip, and we've come just right down from the Honey Run Bridge, and I've hooked up with Sophia and Richard here. We're all standing out in the middle of the water, this beautiful water. And Sophia, you and I were just talking about the fact I'm from down in LA, and I'm a little overwhelmed by this beauty, by this water, by this whole scenic look. This is something special, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's very rare that you come up here and find something natural, untouched. We keep it clean up here. We clean up our stuff, and this is why we come to Chico.
Yeah, I was going to say, the people of Chico, you all know what you've got up here, don't you?
Yes, and we try and keep it as clean as possible.
Do you mind if people like us come up and visit for a while?
No, not at all. You guys come up all you want, see some natural beauty, clear water, nothing, no pollution, no nothing, all natural.
Yeah, this is absolutely spectacular. And standing here in this nice, clear, cool water, this is what the locals like to do on the weekends, isn't it?
Yeah, all the locals come here. Today's Tuesday, so us people work hard in the sun, construction, or just trying to get trying to relax.
Yeah, we've worked hard today too. We've had a very strenuous day. We're just going to stand out here and get our feet wet and enjoy this beautiful scenery, and look forward to an even better day tomorrow here in Chico on this absolutely glorious road trip. Look over here at this water and the flowers blooming and the trees. It doesn't get any prettier than this, and this is just our first day here in Chico. Who knows what tomorrow is going to bring? Well, here it is, the morning of our second day here in Chico, and we are starting this day off in a very creative way, because we have been told by everybody in Chico that we have to visit this place, a place that's located right on Park Avenue here in downtown Chico. Now, from the looks of things, it's kind of quiet out front. All the creative energy is going on in the back room. And here we are. We have come into this amazing room. We're standing here with Doug Boyd. Doug, this is your operation here. let everybody know exactly where we are standing right now.
Well, we're standing in the blow shop of Orient Flume Glass, where we make art glass 5 days a week, year-round.
All right, in the blow room.
Blow shop.
Blow shop. And you've been making glass here in Chico for 36 years. You started out as a young man in the glass business, not knowing exactly where this was going to lead you, didn't you?
That's exactly right, of course. And, started in my backyard as one of those, things. And 36 years later, we have a major operation here, of course.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of you back from your hippie days when you had longer hair and all of that youthful idealism. And I have a feeling that you've managed to keep it working in a place like this.
Yeah, well, this is obviously exciting because it's all creative. These guys love their work. I mean, every day's different, every day's exciting and creative. What do you want,
Yeah.
And they are given the right to do their own work, their own designing. We don't tell them what to do here.
So what are we looking at? How many artists are in here on any given day?
There's 7 to 8 max on a, depending, and it's been that way for 36 years, 7 to 10 people.
So is this glass blowing? Is this what this?
In this case, he's not going to blow it. He's taking molten glass and forming it into a bird, all freehand. Very difficult, working with just hot glass, as you can see. It's amazing. The detail that you see, at the end result is incredible.
Now, do these artists start out with you almost as students and work their way up, or?
Most of them have come through universities, but they don't have these facilities or the time to do this kind of work. So it's just time here, training here.
Wow, this is beautiful right here, and this is going to end up, looks like it's a penguin. Yeah. Is that a penguin?
Actually, it's a little chickadee. We have
a chickadee.
On the bench.
Oh, there it is. Oh, look. There's a finished one right there.
That's it.
And you're putting this one into the oven. Yeah, or what is this called?
This is called our glory hole, and it's where we use to reheat our glass. Because as a hot medium, it moves real easily. But as it gets colder, it stiffens right up.
Wow. Now, is your specialty making chickadees, or is this just one of many things you do?
Well, I'm kind of new here. They've started me out making birds, and this is one of the newer birds I'm working on.
Now, because you're talking to me, you're not leaving that bird in there too long, are you?
No, I need to get it really melted in, and the next step, I'm going to add some clear to it. So the clear's cold, it needs to be real hot to pick it up.
Wow, because it's hot just standing here looking in there. That little bird is roasting in there. How long before you bring it out?
I'm about to, and then I'm going to walk right over here and powder it up.
All right, we're going to follow the, oh boy, there it comes. Boy, it is glowing hot too.
The color and give it a little more texture.
What did you just stick it in? Some sand or something?
It's just a crushed clear glass.
Wow. All right, we're going back over. So you're just going to cook that right on the bird?
Yeah, melt it right in, and that's going to give it a different surface texture or appearance.
All right, we'll come back and see your finished chickadee in a little while.
All right.
Right now, he's turning the bird inside the glory hole. Now, what's happening over here, Doug?
He's finished this piece. He's blown it, and he's taken it off the blowpipe. It's stuck up on a solid rod called a punty rod. Watch.
Wow, there's such an energy level in here.
There you go. See?
Oh, God.
So we've switched pipes. This is solid. Now he can work the end of it.
Boy.
Work on the other end, see?
So everything is revolving around putting it inside the heat here.
Yeah, heat's a big deal. You don't want to get it too cold or it'll bust off.
Now, is this a two-man? I noticed there were two of you working on this.
Oh, Maya's been bringing me bits. He brought the foot.
So you have an assistant on some of these. Mm-hmm. Boy, you got to know exactly how hot to get it, how many times to turn it.
Oh, man.
One mistake.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. Look at this.
Then I got to make aesthetic decisions on top of it.
So you're creating this as you go along.
I kind of, yeah, you make it up as you go along. You got an idea about what you want, but you're still kind of at the mercy of what the glass wants to do.
But no two of these are alike, really.
No, they're not. This handcrafting thing really keeps them unique.
You just cut the top off that thing.
Yeah. That's cool, huh?
Boy, and I tell you what, everything is down to the second, too, isn't it?
I don't have much time, and because it loses its heat so quickly.
You know, Doug, I feel when you watch these artists working, you feel like you're, I mean, this is such a creative process. And you've got this thing set up so that tourists and people from town can just come and sit on these benches that you've got all around looking in, and just they can watch all this the same way we're watching it right now.
Absolutely, and they're you know, they're welcome to come when we're open, even on Saturday.
Do you have a lot of people just sitting watching this from the sidelines?
We have tour buses from all over the United States. So we have people from Chico schools, school kids, and
because people are fascinated with glass, aren't they?
Absolutely. I mean,
what is it about glass? Is it just the heat and the creative process?
It's so unique just because of the temperatures you're dealing with. You can't touch it. You know, you're talking thousands of degrees Fahrenheit, and to be able to manipulate it and change the shape and all that and make it work, you know, is an incredible feat. If you look around this room here, you see all this glass. And this is the only place you'll be able to see this amount of glass, plus our showroom, of course, out in front, anywhere in the world. I mean, normally you get to see 3 or 4 pieces in a gallery somewhere, you know. So that's why people come to Chico and visit.
And to know that all of this glass that we're looking at, either back here or out in your showroom, which is spectacular, to know that all of this was made by people, by artisans, right here in Chico.
Absolutely, right here, every day.
Do you think the people of Chico take this for granted after 36 years? I don't think they do.
I don't think so. It's so unique, you know, and exciting, and so, no, I don't think so.
Why isn't more of this going on?
It's too difficult. It really is. These are master artists here, you know, some have been here for 30 plus years. And you know, it takes 30 plus years to become to do work on this level here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I don't know a lot about glass, but I know enough to know that I appreciate what I've seen here today, and I know that this place and these people are indeed very special.
They are special. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We've had an absolutely wonderful time.
Thanks for coming.
And of course, this is available for anyone when they visit Chico to come by and see all of this for themselves.
That's true.
Okay, as our road trip continues, we are now in the Rose Garden at Chico State, which is located right in the heart of downtown Chico and is one of the main claims to fame of Chico. And I've hooked up with Julie and
Marion.
And boy, this was spur of the moment, wasn't it?
Definitely.
You didn't know we were coming.
No.
You all are from the Public Affairs Department, and we are here to kind of get a quick glimpse of what Chico State is all about. And let me see if I'm correct. We had been told earlier at the Bidwell Mansion that General John Bidwell originally donated acreage back in 1887 to start what is present-day Chico State. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, now what's going on campus these days? Get us excited about Chico State.
Well, right now it's summertime, so it's a little bit slow, but we just graduated a bunch of students, and we have 7 colleges here, everything from agriculture to teacher education to engineering to liberal arts. And we have a really big focus right now on sustainability. So we've hired a director of sustainability, and we have wonderful recycling programs, and we're getting a solar power array. So we're
this
excited.
is a green campus.
Very much so.
And part of the greenness of this campus are these beautiful big trees, which we also learned were originally planted by General Bidwell back in the 1800s.
Yeah, we have an official campus arboretum, and we have just an amazing variety of plants here.
Well, it can't get much prettier than this. We are standing out here. Come on, ladies. We're standing out in the Rose Garden. This is a picture-perfect day here on campus. None of the students are here. It's summer school, and things are kind of notched down a bit. We're here not to tour the campus, but to talk about your alumni. Now, how many alumni are there at Chico State?
We've got about 105,000 alumni.
105,000 alumni. So you've got a very active alumni association.
Oh yeah, they're very dedicated.
And we are getting ready to leave this beautiful Rose Garden, this beautiful bell tower, this beautiful campus, these beautiful trees, and our two new friends here from the Public Affairs Department to spend some quality time with one of the most famous alumni ever from Chico State. And here he is, Ken Grossman, class of...
Well, I never really graduated. I dropped out to start making beer.
So you're not an actual alumni of Chico State.
Not technically, no.
You went to Chico State.
Right.
And the reason you didn't graduate from Chico State is really a legend. It's a legendary story all over California because you started doing something while you were a student at Chico State that has grown into an empire based here in Chico. Tell everybody this wonderful story.
Well, I started out as a home brewer, and in the late 70s decided to open a home brewing and winemaking supply store, which helped foster my hobby and habit. And then about 1978, I decided I was going to open a small brewery.
And didn't you literally operate out of a garage in Chico?
Well,
that's the legend.
Yeah, it was a little bit more than a garage. We rented a little metal building, and I started to fabricate and build all the equipment to start making beer on a commercial scale, but on a very, very small scale.
Where did this garage thing? Because I'm telling you, every brew pub you go to anywhere in California, the Sierra Nevada ale story is legendary.
Well, I actually had a fairly sophisticated home brewery in my garage at home as well. So that's probably
it was in a garage.
Yes.
All right, now that was in
we started brewing our first batch of beer November 15th, 1980.
When you were still a student?
Actually, I dropped out.
Dropped out by then.
Yep.
You knew what was ahead.
Yep.
You didn't need that business degree. You were putting it into work on a daily basis.
Yeah, my mom still bugs me today to go back and finish my degree, but
I'm sure they'll give you an honorary degree at any time you want one. All right, we are standing here in this amazing facility, which is the world headquarters for Sierra Nevada. Tell us exactly what is going on, because this is the traditional look and it's warm.
Right. Yeah,
so there's something going on in these kettles.
We're brewing right now, and these are our two wort kettles. And wort is beer before it's fermented. After it starts fermenting and yeast is added, then it can be called beer. But at this point, it's wort.
It smells good in here.
Well, those of you who've had malted milkshakes, the basis for malt is the same malted barley we use in making beer.
All right, now what do we have over here in these white containers? Because I have a feeling that's important too.
Yeah, these are hops.
Ah.
And we still use whole...
Can I put my hand in there?
Yeah, go right ahead. It'll be boiled here in a few minutes. So these are whole cone hops, and we're one of the few brewers left in the world, I think, that are using the traditional form of hops.
Now, are these California hops?
These are mainly California, well, these are mainly U.S. hops. I wouldn't say they're California hops.
We used to grow a lot of hops.
Right, and we actually have a small hop field right next to the brewery, and we raise some varieties of hops that we make special batches of beer out of.
Did you come up with your own?
The original pale ale recipe was my recipe, and the beer we brew today is very, very similar to what we brewed 25 years ago.
So it's changed very little from when you started in 1980.
No, it hasn't changed much at all. What does change as time goes on is varieties of malts and hops. But we've been able to manage to keep the beer pretty much the same as it was when we brewed it 25 years ago.
What's he doing over there?
He's getting ready to add the hops to the kettle right now.
Oh, he's putting the hops. You're putting the hops in the kettle.
Yeah.
Look at this, Cameron. All right, let's dump them in. Boy, it's steaming in there.
Yeah. Hops are the spice of beer. And so we add hops and different types of hops throughout the brewing process.
Wow, look at that. Wow, that's exciting just to see that happen.
Say the hops are what impart much of the aroma and flavor to the beer. And so we add different varieties at different times during the boiling process. The beer will be boiled for about an hour and a half, and during that time we'll add different types and lots of hops.
You know what you're doing. You graduated from?
UC Davis.
Majoring in?
Fermentation science.
He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah,
you got a UC Davis here, and probably a lot of Chico State as well.
We do, yes. We're very fortunate to have two fine universities in our backyard, and so we hire students from both of them.
We've moved to another big room here in the brewery, and I'm not sure exactly what's going on here, but I am really kind of surprised at how open it is, how shiny it is, how modern it is. This is really quite beautiful in here.
This is a design like you'd see in a traditional small brewery in Europe. There's not too many breweries in the United States that are built in this style, but the tanks are heavily insulated. They go up through the roof.
Also, the tanks are right up here.
This is the bottom of the fermenters, and so this is where the fermentation and maturation of the beer takes place. And they're heavily insulated, so even on a hot Chico day, we can still keep the beer below 30 degrees without taking too much energy.
Now, is there beer going, what's going through these pipes?
These pipes are how we fill, empty, and clean the fermenters. So every one of these tanks has one of these flow panels, and depending on what we're trying to do with the beer, we can fill a tank, empty a tank, filter a tank.
This is state-of-the-art, isn't it?
Very much state-of-the-art.
Okay, now we've come into what is obviously a laboratory of some sort.
Right, this is our research and development laboratory where we look at how to analyze new hops, new malt varieties, yeast strains. We're developing new beers and looking at optimizing what we're doing. We have other laboratories around the brewery that are focused on quality assurance and quality control.
May I talk with some of these guys? Because I have no idea what you're doing over here. What are you, this looks very important, whatever it is.
I'm preparing a beer sample for analysis on our inductively coupled plasma optical emission spectrometer.
I don't know what you just said, but it sounds very impressive.
What we have here is we have a plasma stream here, and the beer comes through the sample tubing, and we're able to find out its elemental composition, so we're able to look for changes in our brewing process to improve the quality of our beer.
Would you call yourself a beer scientist?
Most definitely, absolutely.
Because I like the look here, the tie-dye t-shirt underneath the lab coat.
We do great research and we have a lot of fun.
Which is part of you're kind of staying true to your Chico State roots, aren't you?
Yes, we're trying.
Kind of keeping it close to the...
It's got to be fun, but we also have to do good work.
Another beer scientist doing what?
Solid phase extraction for hop acids to be analyzed on high performance liquid chromatography.
See, I think... Are they just using these words to...
No, they actually mean something.
Sorry. So you graduated from...
Chico State.
With a degree in...
Environmental science.
And had you, when you were at Chico State, you had heard the Sierra Nevada story, hadn't you?
Yes, I had, but I had no idea they had a lab, or I would have never wasted my time down in the Bay Area.
You would have just come right here.
I would have hit Ken up a long time ago.
Wow. And do you have people hitting you up all the time? These grads all want to come work here.
Nobody wants to leave Chico after they graduate, so there's a lot of good people around to hire from.
And why not? They can do good work and still wear tie-dye.
That's right.
And get something accomplished. This has got to be the best of both worlds.
It is. It is the best of both worlds. Lots of fun, lots of hard work. It's very rewarding.
Oh my gosh. Now what is going on over here?
Well, this instrument analyzes all the aromas in beer, which there are hundreds of them.
It analyzes aromas, and why is that important?
Well, you want to, aroma is the most important part of beer. It's really, what you smell through your nose is 95% of taste.
Yeah.
So this analyzes all the different aromas coming off of beer. We want to make sure a beer stays fresh as long as possible. You want to verify that, it's a consistent product every time. So there's an element of quality control, and also this is a wonderful research tool where we actually get to discover new flavors in beer that no one else has recovered from. Through the nose.
Wow.
So what this does, it couples this sniff port right here.
Wait a minute, you sniff?
That's right.
You literally sniff?
This instrument is separating all the thousands of compounds in beer into their individual compounds and individual smells. And somebody can sit here for about 30 to 40 minutes and experience.
So you're sniffing beer all day?
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting. Beer is composed of many different types of aromas, from banana to spicy, apples, herbaceous, and there's some kind of negative ones too, but all of these combine together to make what we know and experience as beer.
Now, where did you learn this? Chico State or UC Davis?
I came all the way out from New Jersey.
Really?
Yeah, I was a flavor chemistry major at Rutgers University.
And did you come out here because you had heard about this place?
I have a love of beer, and I have just a real appreciation for this company and how they do what they do. So,
so the legend of Sierra Nevada had reached all the way to New Jersey.
That's right. It really did. I remember just some older friends of mine, saw me drinking some canned beer, and they said, "Put that away. Here, try one of these."
Now we're getting into the tasting part of the beer. And Kathy, you are the tasting supervisor, I guess, and you tell me that you taste every day.
We do. We taste every day. We have several panels come in during the course of the week. We have one panel that comes in every day and tastes the beer for release.
So wait a minute. They taste beer every batch?
Every single batch is tasted 2 times before it's sold. So even though we've got a lot of laboratory equipment that does a lot of analysis, ultimately it's what the beer tastes like.
See, I was smelling it. I just came from the smelling machine. But what are people's palates that finely tuned? What are you looking for? What are they?
Well, we're looking for the beer to be within the target that we want for that particular brand. So pale ale, we want it to have a nice fruity floral malt aroma to it with a good bitter hop bite and a good full mouthfeel.
And how much of this can you taste before you just get numb?
Well, people think this is the best job in the world, but it's actually quite difficult to taste it, for critical sensory components of the beer.
Can I sign up to be here? You should get one, Ken, too. We should do this together. I guess you don't have cheers before each taste test, but
a lot of cheers in the day.
A lot of cheers, but let's see. Let's get a little. You're smelling it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these glasses are like a wine glass, so they're designed to focus the aromas. When we're brewing beer, we're dealing with agricultural products that are grown in different fields and different seasons of hops, and so we've got to make sure the beer tastes the same every time.
I can't really tell. I think I'm going to have to drink some more in order to give a full evaluation.
Yeah, sometimes you need a second check on it. Yeah.
This passes. It can go out to the public.
Okay, well, thanks.
We've given it our seal of approval. Here comes the beer on the conveyor belt. It's labeled, it's bottled, it's capped, it's ready for market, and that brings the question up of how this has grown since that first batch in 1980. How big was your first batch?
Actually, our first batch was 150 gallons, but we threw it away. We actually threw away the first 10 batches until we got the recipe figured out.
You threw away the first 10 batches?
Yeah, it took us several months to really dial the beer in that we wanted to produce.
So they didn't pass the taste and the smell test?
No, they didn't.
Now, where is this marketed today? This is more than just a California beer, isn't it?
We distribute some beer throughout the United States. California is our biggest market by far. About half of our beer is sold in California.
So this is still a California beer, by and large.
Oh, very much so.
Oh my goodness! Look, you're not drinking all of those.
Yes, we are. We've had a little taste of each one.
You've had a taste of each one, and these are these all Sierra Nevada?
They're all Sierra Nevada beers, and of course, my brother and I, he likes all the light ones, and I like all the dark ones. So
look at all this beer here.
This is just wonderful, and his favorite was this Crystal Wheat right here.
Obviously, because it's almost finished.
All finished, and the one that isn't here anymore is the Porter, which is my favorite.
And you're ending up with 2 big, full, black cups of coffee.
Yes.
I got to drive.
We also had a wonderful lunch. The food here is fabulous.
Absolutely amazing. Ken, everybody's happy.
Well, that's good.
Because this is another part of the story right here. This is called the
Sierra Nevada Tap Room and Restaurant.
And as with everything else in this company, it started off to be much smaller than this, didn't it?
When I first envisioned a small little pub, and as demand grew, we expanded the restaurant. So it used to end right here, and now we've got a big beer garden. And
well, you've got a beautiful little bar set up.
Right,
over
we
here.
made that here in Chico.
Wow.
Yep.
All right, let's close this thing up because this is such an interesting story. I know that obviously you probably talk to a lot of young people and give a lot of speeches on college and high school campuses. What do you tell them? What is all this success all about? How did this happen to this college kid at Chico State back in 1980 that has allowed it to grow into this?
Well, I think the key to probably success in anything you do in life is to have something you're really passionate about, something you love to do and don't mind putting in a lot of hard work. If you're not passionate about it, you're not going to be able to put in the energy that's required to make a go of it. So be prepared to fail every once in a while, but also be prepared to work hard at it, and you should be successful.
Well, you have worked hard. I'm going to buy your book. Have you written a book yet?
No, not yet.
Because, I mean, this is really an inspirational story, and it's a great Chico story, and it's a great California story, and that's what's so exciting about it, is that you've done it right here in Chico. You didn't have to go anywhere else to make your dream come true.
Nope, Chico turned out to be a great home for us.
Well, it's been a great place for us, too, these last 2 days. We have seen a lot of wonderful places. We've met some amazing people. We've had a great time. I wish I'd known about Chico State when I was growing up. I would have chosen this as a place to come to college. There's so much to see and do here. It's a great place to visit. It's a great place to live. I hope you've had as much fun as we've had. We're now going to cut off the cameras, have lunch, have a cold Sierra Nevada, reflect on the last 2 days here in Chico, and then head back home. Heading back home with a lot of wonderful memories of our road trip here in Butte County in Chico, California. We've had a wonderful time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks
this
for
was
visiting.
actually a perfect way to end this road trip. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Huell Hauser, and I don't know when I've had as much fun or learned as much. Chico is an amazing place to visit. And if you'd like to go on this road trip again or share it with your family and friends, it's available on video cassette and on DVD. All you have to do is call 1-800-266-5727, and we'll be glad to send it to you right away.
Road Trip with Huell Hauser has been made possible by the Automobile Club of Southern California.
Wherever you're headed on your next road trip, the Auto Club knows the territory. For travel tips or comprehensive destination information, as well as booking your next family vacation, our website is a great first stop on any journey, no matter how far away your destination may be. Through all life's travels, we're always with you.